if Korea makes it out of its group and makes into Final Four, Team Korea might play Team USA in the semis.
Ooh.
Who are you going to root for, Mr. Edmond?
Oh, are you kidding? That's not a question. I'll be rooting for.
All right, Mr. Edmond, thank you so much for your time. Baseball season is about to start. Spring training is happening in KBO and also in Major League Baseball. But as you know, like in 10 days, World Baseball Classic is about to take place. And your son, Tommy, will be representing Team Korea. Before we start, I'm going to have to ask you, when you first heard about this opportunity for Tommy to represent Korea, what was your initial reaction?
Well, I thought it was fantastic for him to get a chance to explore his roots a little bit. He, obviously he's lived in the United States the whole time, but he is half Korean. He's thrilled. I'm thrilled for him. As a family, we think this is a pretty darn cool opportunity. And my wife and my daughter and Tommy's grandmother will also be able to head over there and enjoy everything in Korea. And our daughter has never been to Korea either, so she's pretty fired up about getting a chance to go over there too.
Have you had an opportunity to talk to Tommy about this opportunity, about the World Baseball Classic? What did he tell you?
Well, so he trained here in San Diego in the off season, and that whole time there was conversation about going, and eventually it was solidified that he would. And he was very excited about it. I know that a couple of his, I think it's 13 of the Cardinals are playing for a team in the World Baseball Classic, and I know I think it was Paul Goldschmidt that told him, man, if you have a chance to go represent your country, and obviously he's got two countries, and Tommy that is, and if you have a chance to do it, there is nothing, it is very, very special. There's nothing like it. And that I think sold him on it, that and the fact that he really hasn't been to Korea before, and it is 50% of who he is. And like I said, he's very excited about it, and we had some fun conversations about it, of course, because grandma was thrilled that he was going to get a chance to represent her home country. My wife was born in Korea, and my mother-in-law's whole family is in Korea. She, I think, is the only member of her family that's in the United States, so she gets back there fairly regularly. But now she gets to take her daughter there, who hasn't been since senior year in high school, and her granddaughter, who's never been, and they get to watch her grandson play baseball. So it's the best of all worlds. We're very excited.
I know that Tommy has played in big games with St. Louis, whole season games. I'm sure he did at Stanford as well, but representing Korea in Japan, playing against Japan, does he understand what he's getting into? It's a huge sporting event. It's like Super Bowl here, basically. The whole country's going to be watching. Does he have an understanding what he's walking into right now, representing Korea at this tournament?
We've been told about that, and we did get to experience a little bit of the World Baseball Classic here with some country rivalries, because they played, and you could see it was just an elevated sense of rivalry and excitement and enthusiasm. And I can only imagine that Korea-Japan will be an even bigger version of that. So I don't think there's any way he can totally fathom what that's like. You're right, he's played in front of some big crowds, especially when it came to the playoffs, and Cardinal fans are very loyal, faithful, and get out to all the games they can, and the teams that he played against when he would go to those ballparks, like the Washington Nationals and Atlanta Braves and the LA Dodgers in the playoffs. It's got a heightened sense of excitement, but again, he may or may not be have had an understanding of what the Korea-Japan rivalry is going to be like. So I think he's pretty excited about it, though.
Just wanted to find out a little bit more about Tommy. One thing that we noticed is that he has a Korean name, Hyunsu. If you look him up in Baseball Reference, his Korean name is right in the middle of it. Can you tell us how you guys came up with that name? Did grandma come up with it? I mean, did you come up with it? Is there any meaning to it? Tommy Hyunsuk Edmond, that's his full name, I believe. So right. I've always wanted to find out the story behind his Korean name.
We just asked his grandmother to give him a Korean name, and she came up with Hyunsu, which it was grandma who named him.
As a father, he was gonna grow up in the States, but did you really feel that he needed a Korean name? The reason why you guys went out of your way to have a Korean name, can you tell us the reason why?
Well, I think it's pretty special to represent your own legacy and your own sort of heritage. And I thought it was really neat that he was going to end up with a Korean name. And again, we absolutely value both sides of the family with the heritage that he's given. On my side, I suppose I'm German, English, Irish, Welsh. I've got a little bit of everything. And on his side, as we understand it, it's pretty much 100% Korean, or on my wife's side, that is. And we certainly value it all.
How was Tommy like when he was a little kid?
Very energetic, a little bit wild, always pretty smart, and I would say very competitive too. His older brother, he would follow him around all over the place, and he wanted to be able to do everything his older brother could do. We'd go for a walk, and the next thing you know, he's up in a tree, 25 feet up in the tree.
Wow.
I had to climb after him, and so very energetic, but also very, he was a smart kid.
No fear, huh?
No fear at all. He probably needed a little bit more fear, but it worked out.
Okay. Well, you've coached at University of Michigan. Now you're coaching high school. So you're a baseball man. You're father to Tommy and Johnny, but at the same time, you're a baseball person as well. At some point, you had to be realistic about you want to support your children, your kids' dreams, but at the same time, you also have to be realistic. I'm saying this because I got to meet Tommy 3 years ago. When I met him, big leaguer. Frank with you. I mean, he's not big, he's not tall, he's not a typical big leaguer that you see in a major league clubhouse. And what point did you tell yourself that maybe Tommy has an opportunity here? Because he's smart, he's competitive, but major league is highest level. The odds are stacked against everybody basically. And at what point were you confident as a baseball person, not as Tommy's father, that he would make it this far?
Yeah, I guess my frame of reference a little bit was playing baseball, and I was a Division III baseball player in Massachusetts, so very small school. And in comparison to me, he was definitely a better ball player, but our focus was on the academics, and our thought was he's a smart kid, maybe he'll get into a really good school in part because of his baseball talent. And it's so hard to get into those good schools now, and it's helpful to have something you can do outside the classroom.
Right.
So we thought baseball would be that thing that would give him a chance to go to one of the really good schools. And at first, early on in his high school career, I was thinking, more like a Williams College or maybe one of the Ivy Leagues where, I went to Williams College and my wife went there also, and we were kind of thinking that might be a possibility. He got a nice offer from Princeton, really liked the coach there. So that was definitely high on his list just because of the academic level. I'd love to go to Stanford. I definitely want to play baseball is kind of what he was saying. But he got some advice at one point from the old coach at University of Michigan, who I coached under, who said he was in the same boat deciding whether to go play at Michigan. And he decided for himself, he said, you know what, if I'm ever going to be a major league ball player, I'm going to have to be able to compete at this level. So I might as well do it right now. And if I can't compete at this level, I'm not going to be a major leaguer anyway. So at that point, it doesn't matter. So I think that kind of convinced Tommy, you know what, I'm just going to give this a shot.
What a journey. Now he plays for one of the premier organizations at the highest level, Stanford, St. Louis Cardinal. You can't get any better than that.
Right. No, it's pretty exciting. He's been very blessed, that's for sure, and worked hard for it too, to be honest.
Okay. Well, if Korea makes it out of its group and makes into Final Four, Team Korea might play Team USA in the semis.
Ooh.
Who are you going to root for, Mr. Edmond?
Are you kidding? That's not a question. I'll be rooting for Korea, of course.
Are you sure?
Yes, I have no doubt about it.
Well, Mr. Edmond, my last question, I don't want to hold you up too long, but things are getting built up here in terms of the excitement for the World Baseball Classic. And we know most fans baseball fans in Korea are getting to know Tommy. As a father, one last message to all the Korean fans that are excited about Tommy joining Team Korea. What kind of player is he? Is he going to play hard? Is he going to give it all? You just said that how competitive he is. Do you think he'll represent Korea in this tournament?
He's always kind of been an under the radar player in the sense that that you're right. He's not 6'2". He's not 230 pounds and doesn't typically hit the ball 500 feet athlete, but he gets the most out of all of his talent and plays very hard, works very hard to try to become the kind of player he is. And I think that one of his greatest strengths is he's very even keeled. He's never too high, never too low, and just I think enjoys the game. And I think you'll probably see that in the way that he plays.
Big games coming up in March. It's a little bit odd. It's something that all of us are used to baseball calendar-wise. What's going to be your advice before he takes on, I guess, Team Japan in a few days in Tokyo, though?
Oh gosh, he's well beyond my ability to give him any advice. He kind of has his game and the way he plays it, does it the same every day. I think that's his hallmark, is that he just plays the same way every single day. He's a very consistent player, and it doesn't matter what the environment is. He just plays hard all the time. So, and I think that's kind of what the Cardinals value in him, and Cardinal fans value in him, is the way he goes about his business every single day.
Well, Mr. Edmond, thank you so much for your time. We're super excited. I think it's going to be a fun tournament for me and for you as well. The family, I could tell that you guys are super excited as well. Hope we can have a long tournament and have Tommy play for Team Korea until, I guess, late March. That means we're going to go all the way. So,
all right, thank you very much. Make sure you teach Tommy some Korean while he's out there.
of course.